Welcome into the LMU men's basketball report for November 21st. Scott rolling in here with head coach Josh Schertz to recap the past week and look ahead to another big week ahead for the Rail Splitters before we get into the holiday breaks. Coach, obviously, we'll get in first to the Small College Basketball Hall of Fame Classic. Headed up to Evansville, Indiana, to play Kentucky Wesleyan and then Alabama Huntsville on Saturday. So let's first talk about that Kentucky Wesleyan game. Slow start in the first half, but then you guys turned it around, outscored them, particularly in the last 15 minutes, 46-23 over the last 15 minutes, and then an 88-72 win over Kentucky Wesleyan. So assess that victory real quick.
Well, I think, we really, like you said, it was 25 minutes. I thought Kentucky Wesleyan really controlled the game. I think it was 50-43 with about 15 minutes to go. And, we hit a couple shots, energy level got going. We really played a good stretch on both sides of the ball for that last 15 minutes in terms of what we did offensively, shot making wise. I don't know that we executed great, but we made shots that got our energy up, which is not a great quality, but got our energy up defensively. So we were much more active in the second half in terms of shot blocking, rebounding, guarded the ball fairly well those last 15 minutes. And all that allowed us to kind of get out and transition, which is where we're at our best, and get some easy baskets and turned, obviously the score, was deceiving. It was a much closer game than 16, but really the last 15 minutes were probably about as good as we've played in a stretch this year, in the first four games. So it was Kentucky Wesleyan, certainly I thought they did a good job mixing things up in the first half, had us off balance. I thought we did a poor job of attacking the trapping and the switching man zone, all those things, and that was probably, like I said, my fault because we tried to do too much against it. We simplified things at halftime. I thought attack their traps and presses better, attack the changing defenses better, and then obviously everything, as always, starts with defense and rebounding, and we did a good job in the last 15 minutes in those two areas, and that again really got us rolling.
Well, now let's talk about what we probably want to avoid talking about, the Alabama-Huntsville game. Me and you talked briefly after the game. Now you've had time to kind of go back and look at it. A 91-67 loss to the Chargers where just really not much went right for the Rail Splitters in that game. But now you've had time to go back and watch the tape a few times and reflect on it. How do you assess that one?
Well, I think, it was obviously embarrassing. Not embarrassing in the sense that we lost because Huntsville's got a terrific team. They got a great program. They played extremely well. None of that part is embarrassing. Losing to Huntsville is not embarrassing at all. What's embarrassing is when you go out and you don't compete and you get outworked and out-toughed and you don't execute, and then when things go badly and adversity hits, you hang your head, and the embarrassment, like I told them, it should be from how soft we played, how soft we are. That's the part that's disappointing and embarrassing as a team, and I kind of hit on it the week before when we talked after the Lees-McRae game, and I told you, I said, Lees-McRae won all the small battles inside the game, loose balls, long rebounds, all these various things that Lees-McRae really beat us to, and I said for us to become a really good team, we had to become a blue-collar team. And, what I was getting at there is exactly what was exposed against Huntsville was, they dominated us in the rebounding battle. We didn't get many offensive rebounds. They drove it, and we didn't hold our ground at all. We settled for, an incredible amount of early clock, long contested twos. When we charted it, we chart every game. Huntsville made on offense 270 passes. We made 96. We had 61 possessions, so we made a pass and a half per possession. And 18 or 19 of the possessions out of 61, we shot early clock, long twos. Nothing that we talk about or do or anything on either end of the side, either end of the ball was good. And always in college basketball, the tougher, more aggressive team usually wins. Huntsville was much tougher, much more aggressive, and we were again about as deflated and as uninspired as we've been in my 9 years here, which is why it was obviously the largest margin, and it was fortunate to be 24. It was obviously in the 30s in the middle of the second half.
Well, and then when we talked about the schedule early in the season, you said one thing that was good about it is that we were probably going to get some form of truth, and truth hit us on Saturday. And now, but how can maybe the team respond to that and use that to fuel them going forward in terms of how can that, maybe be a positive going forward if the guys respond correctly to it?
Yeah, I mean that's the key. Is you can get truth in anything, and then it's all how you process it. So if we look at what happened Saturday as a group and say, well, we were 4 for 18 from 3 and 7 for 19 from the free throw line. It was a bad shooting night. That's what caught us. Or man, I didn't get beat that much. My teammates got beat. I guarded my guy okay. Whatever the case may be. If we process it like that, then the whole experience was wasted. The getting beat like that was a wasted deal. If we got hit between the eyes with truth, if we can deal with it and handle it and say, okay, here's where we got exposed, here's where we got to grow, then that's the benefit of playing a schedule like we're playing early, where we're playing no home games, we're playing and a bunch of teams that are likely to be NCAA tournament teams. That continues with Carson-Newman on the road tomorrow, who's undefeated. But you're playing teams that are really good, and if we handle the truth right, then it can expedite our growth. And because we got a young team, we've got a lot of new pieces, and so we're trying to figure things out. But if we can take what happened Saturday, learn from it, we obviously got together and watched it, yesterday, and say, okay, this is what happened. This is the truth. Now, what are we going to do moving forward to get better? Then we can certainly recover, grow, and hopefully be a better team. Even by Tuesday, and then moving forward with the experiences that we had. The truth we got hit with on Saturday was the same thing that I was been concerned about. I've told you, from the beginning. We've never been, but I think we tend towards front runners, which is what happened, against Kentucky Wesleyan. We were down, hit some shots, and once we hit some shots, energy jacked up, and we were flying around defensively, and everything we looked great for 15 minutes. But our lack of toughness and our lack of execution, and again, tough and smart always wins, and we're not there yet, but hopefully we saw a team in Huntsville that is, and what happens when you play a good team that is, and that we have a long way to go to become a good team. So hopefully we'll get better between now and tomorrow a little bit, and then obviously as we move forward here the rest of the season.
One of the things you keep talking about and preaching on is the competitiveness and the small battles, rebounding particularly, and not hanging your head when things maybe don't go your way. How do you kind of help push the team in the right direction, steer the team in the direction to clean those things up?
Well, a lot of it, with the rebounding part, we've been, I think, 7 years in a row. We've led the league in rebounding margin. This is by far the biggest, most athletic team we've had here, and I think we're 8th in the league. I think we've gotten out rebounded for the season. It's that's a toughness issue. That's guys not believing that they need to go and put a body on somebody and stick them and stop their momentum and go get the rebound. It's the same thing guarding the basketball. You drive it, and are you able to move your feet and hold your ground, or do you open up and let the guy get where they want to? I mean, how many drives they get the ball to to 1 foot and lay it in? How many times we open up the gate and allow that to happen? And so the hope is that they learn from these things. The good thing is that a lot of what ails us, or really almost all of what ails us, is correctable. We have good players. There is talent. Talent is at this level, never enough. You need to have the intangible things. And so I think you develop them with a young group, hopefully through experiences. We went through, we got embarrassed on national TV. And again, not losing, but the way we lost, the way we competed, our body language, we gave in, a lot of things that are negative. So hopefully, we learn from that experience. If we're in that situation again, and we will be, where we're down and there's adversity, that we handle it better the next time, because we can call on that experience from what happened on Saturday in terms of, remember last time we were in this situation and what we did. And last year's group, had adversity. We were down numerous times. We talk about at LR, home here, down 18, various scenarios, and that's part of it is your competitive character. How do you, do you keep fighting? Do you keep swinging? Do you keep, hanging in there and going? Or do you do like we did and, it's not going well for you, so you turn inwards, deflate, and basically shut it down. So, that we'll interested to see how we go from there.
We'll now turn the page to tomorrow's game, Southland Conference opener at Carson-Newman. You had already mentioned this. They're 3-0 this season. Wins over Southern Wesleyan, Lander, and most recently Virginia Wise. They're a lot more rested than us. They haven't played since that Virginia Wise game. But talk about the Eagles. We obviously know the challenge of guard and Charles Clark and Sawyer Williams, two All-SAC, preseason All-SAC selection. But just talk about the Eagles.
I think maybe a very different Eagles team than one in years past. They've done some different things. They're playing, I don't know, we'll see what they do tomorrow, but they're playing primarily man-to-man, mixing in some zone. As you mentioned, they've got two of the best players, not only in the league, but in the country. Charles Clark, since his freshman year, has been probably outside of our guys, my favorite guard. In Division II basketball, I think he's fantastic. Can score every which way. Great finisher, great competitor, terrific shooter. Sawyer Williams, another guy that just goes out and just does his job. He's a workhorse inside for him. Plays a ton of minutes. Does a great job scoring the ball, rebounding it, and defensively. I think where they're different is they're playing faster. Certainly shooting the three better. The number that pops out is 49.3. That's their three-point shooting percentage as a team. Mm-hmm. They got three guys shooting over 50%. Zach Pangalo is making 70%. Cameron Holmes 56%, and Malik Abram up in that vicinity as well. They shoot the ball really well. They're smaller, quicker than they've been. So I think it'll be a great test for us. Carson-Newman is I thought going in, I thought this could be maybe Chuck's best team that he's had there. I think it probably is. I think they're a definite NCAA tournament team, a definite team that will be competitive for the South Atlantic Conference title. As you said, they're undefeated, they're rested, and so it'll be a challenge for us. So the biggest thing for our guys is with what happened Saturday is do we go out and do we compete? And did we grow from what happened this weekend? Are we a better team? Do we execute better? Do we play harder? And how do we handle things when things don't go our way? So I'm interested to see how we respond to the challenge of playing a really good team on their home floor after what we did on Saturday. So we'll look forward to it. We'll go out and hopefully this time give it our best and see how it shakes out.
Well, and then obviously we know Holt Fieldhouse is a tough place to play. We've had some difficulties there. We did sweep the regular season series last year against the Eagles, but how do you get the guys ready to rebound and go and then in the SAC opener perform well?
Well, I mean, you got to try to as best you can. It's a short turnaround for us. We got in and watched film of Huntsville last night. We'll start on Carson-Newman today. It's been travel. It's been a lot of go. But we'll try to, obviously, that's what success in life is. You have to. Had we won Saturday, you got to move forward from beating Huntsville or Kentucky Wesleyan and move on to what's next. And the same holds true when you lose. You have to learn from it, grow from it, and move forward. The key in life is to continue to move forward, to get on to what's next. Our goals have never been centered around winning and losing. It's always about trying to play to your potential on an every game basis, and then obviously be the best you can be in March when it matters the most. And so we'll continue to try to focus on that. I think Carson-Newman's obviously presents an unbelievable challenge. Holt Fieldhouse is an incredibly difficult place to play. They're going to be rested, ready. They're a great team, extremely well coached. Chuck and his staff do an amazing job. So they have all the makings of a great team. We're going to have to be at our best to have a chance. If we're not at our absolute best, we're not. We have no chance to win tomorrow. But certainly we're gonna go out and give it everything we have, and hopefully we'll be a better team than one that took the floor on Saturday against Huntsville.
Well, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but real quickly, after Thanksgiving, you guys go on the road to Virginia Wise, a team who is doesn't look like the same Virginia Wise team this year. They had Carson-Newman on the ropes earlier this week, up by 12 with 7 minutes to go or something like that, and then forced overtime. But that'll obviously be another challenge, it looks like, with the Cavaliers team that's kind of reloaded this year.
Yeah, Blake's done a good job. They added a transfer out of Fairmont State, and I haven't watched a ton of them yet, but I watched their game with Carson-Newman, and I think he had 32. He's averaging like 27 a game or something. He's playing tremendous for him. Big kid Sousa, who's back from last year, was terrific. And they combined for 62 against Carson-Newman. So Blake's got a really good team. They're explosive offensively. I think they're another team averaging in the 90s. We got to go to their place and play. It's like Carson-Newman, kind of different than Carson-Newman, but it's a rivalry in the sense of proximity and been played. The game has been played for a long time. So we'll see. Obviously, this week is challenging, as they all are. But I think, for us, it's the focus, at least for us right now, has to be on us and what we can do to get better. We're going to play, as we talked about, we got on the schedule. It's one after another, really good team after really good team, and some of the teams we're playing, like Virginia Wise, are probably a lot better than even people expected coming into the year. Virginia Wise is a really good team, so we'll have to again try to develop better habits, compete well, hopefully go out and play better and play together and do some things execution wise, competitively, and see how it shakes out.